everybody. We have quite a few candidates who want to present their information to us, and we want to help them get elected. And so I want to get started and welcome to Indivisible Tacoma Candidate Forum. Yay! You will hear from some of our steering members, leaders in Indivisible Tacoma. Carol is right there, seated there, and Barb Church, and Demita, and Linda, and Liz is up there. Anyway, you'll hear from various ones of us as we introduce people. Our co-chair, Julie Andrzejewski, did much of the organizing to get this ready. The candidates know that she was the one who got in contact with you and everything. And she's in Italy at the moment, but she'll be back for the June 30th forum. So that's, and then I think now it's time for Barb to come up.
Thank you. I'm here to do the land acknowledgement. So we acknowledge that we live and work on the stolen land, the traditional homelands of indigenous peoples who have lived here from time beyond memory. We want to express our deep respect and gratitude for our indigenous neighbors, the Puyallup, Nisqually, Muckleshoot, Squaxin, and still to come, for their enduring care and protection of our shared lands and waterways. We recognize that this statement is only a small step toward true allyship and dismantling the ongoing legacies of colonialism and white supremacy. We commit to uplifting the voices, experiences, and histories of indigenous people of this land through our continued work. Thank you. And now I'd like to have a moment of silence in loving memory of Catherine Ushka. I would also like to say that our hearts, love, and support go out to Marty Campbell as a friend, a neighbor, a colleague, and Tacoma Indivisible's endorsed candidate for assessor. Thank you.
I forgot to mention two steering members. Pat Curran is here, and Vicki Stanich is here, and also that water is on its way. Everybody was wondering about that. So here's Linda.
Welcome. We are super grateful to all our co-hosts, all of whom are pulling together for this crucial election. Our co-hosts include the Conversation 253, LD2, LD25, LD27, LD28, LD29, and the Pierce County Democrats, also the Tacoma Women's Think Tank. We extend a big thanks to the Pierce County Labor Council and the IBEW for the use of this wonderful space. If the co-hosts could stand so we can recognize you. We are standing. And thank you to Hal Merrill for the welcome music. And we feel deep gratitude to Dan Villa, our friend, who is our talented videographer. Thank you for making all this possible.
For 7 years, Indivisible Tacoma has been working to elect progressive leaders. Much of our work involves getting folks registered to vote and introducing them to candidates that share our values. And we'd like to point to Erasmo, if you'd stand, and Yana, who I don't think has made it yet, who decided to stand up for our values in the conservative LD2 by filing to run for state legislative office, and they will speak to us at our June 30th forum. So put that on your calendar, please.
Anyone who steps up to run for office is putting a lot of effort and energy and sacrifice in, and so we're so grateful when good people who do that. The outstanding candidates who are presenting today are they face challenging campaigns. All of them do. We're really grateful to be working for good candidates, and we are going to work hard for them, and that's what today is about, is building our energy and our strength and looking around at each other and seeing how much we can work together. There are lots of ways that you can help candidates. We're going to direct our attention and our energy, our resources to their success. Candidates have lit and signs on that table. Some of the signs need to be signed out, but candidates are welcome to put their information on that table. A lot of the tasks we do during a campaign are things like placing candidates' signs around the community, and also, of course, donating, attending fundraisers. We do sign waving near the election dates, and we of course vigorously knock on doors. And Vicky's coming up to talk about that.
Hello everyone. Yesterday, when I canvassed our neighborhood for candidates Jani, Hitchen, and Mello, a Democrat answered the door and said, quote, "I feel like this is the most important year of my life. I've witnessed life-changing and life-threatening events based on policy changes for women's reproductive rights. For one, it's critical that people turn out to vote," end quotes. How many of you think that 2024 is going to be one of the most politically defining years of your lives? Yeah. And how many of you have volunteered to door knock for candidates? Good show of hands. Well, get ready to make a difference and to join the friendly doorbelling teams that we are organizing for Tacoma, South Sound, and East Pierce County. Doorbelling is the most effective and important grassroots work that a volunteer can do. You can be the difference in whether a candidate wins by simply knocking on one door. Think about that for a second. In some races, you have the power to change the outcome of a race with one single vote. That is a lot of power. Contrary to some perceptions, most voters appreciate that you've made the effort to speak with them in person. Many of them want to hear what you have to say about the candidates and appreciate the added information that they don't usually receive on social media or on candidate flyers. We go out in teams, and there are different roles. You might talk to the resident who answers the door, or you might enter the results into the minivan app, or you might read out the upcoming house or apartment numbers, or you might drive canvassers and navigate. All are needed. The more experienced canvassers will coach and encourage you to get the most fulfilling experience. We will always have a buddy for you, and you will never canvass alone unless that's your preference. We will also train you on the use of the minivan app, which is a powerful tool for doorbelling. Everyone can do something in this crucial year, and bring friends. This is an urgent request. Let's do the rest now. Okay, and before you leave today, please sign in at the volunteer table right here. And we have different teams for different areas. Okay, thank you very much.
So we've gone over our plan for success, and now it's time to hear from the great candidates we're hosting today. And we're going to we're going to start with two statewide candidates, and that will be Chris Reykdal and Patti Kuderer. So Chris, you want to come up?
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. I'm all mic'd up here, so I think I'm good to go. Appreciate you all very much. Welcome on a Sunday that is sunny, where you could be gardening. You are here listening to elected officials and those that want to be. So thank you very much. I am Chris Reykdal, your Democrat incumbent superintendent of public education. I want to just emphasize that right off the get-go here. This group's meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me 4 years ago. I'm grateful to have your endorsement. I actually want to just focus my comments on those three very powerful words that you see behind me as part of this organization's core values: democracy, earth, and justice. Because there are things about my role as superintendent in this race that aren't apparent in those words, but I want to make them clear for you. You know about Moms for Liberty. You know what they've done in parts of Pierce County and around the state and around the country. This was grassroots building by none other than the chief book banner, Ron DeSantis. He was going to build a network of folks because he thought we can't win on issues as Republicans. They can't. So he was going to pull people out of the suburbs on these very tangible, heartfelt issues through the vilification of public ed and the demonization of public institutions themselves. Things didn't work out very well for Ron DeSantis. It is impossible to overcome he who shall not be named. But they've simply switched over. This army of folks who seek to destroy public institutions are just a destructive force to make us not believe in the democratic institutions that make up our republic. Because in the absence of believing in those, people start to turn around and ask, who will fill the void of leadership? If not real justice in our court system, if not real education in our public schools, if not access to health care, who fills that void? People who promise you everything while they're absolutely taking away your rights. Democracy is on the ballot in the United States this year. And for me, it means public education is on the balance because we have folks racing into the state with money. We've got already one of the major parties in this state, the Republican Party, who attempted to move forward on an initiative to gather signatures to privatize our schools. You know what's happening around the country. They're handing taxpayer money to people as if it's a private benefit instead of a public good. They're walking to their local church or their for-profit corporation or their online tutoring program. They are simply lining the pockets of those who have always wanted to profit from the 3% of GDP that we spend in public ed. This is entirely about more money for fewer people and less access for those who need it the most. That's what vouchers are, and they're resegregating schools all over the country. Are you ready to fight against vouchers in the state of Washington? Okay. Earth. Little known fact about this role of mine, legislature, God, I love you all so much, I really do. But over the last 100 years, they've created statutory assignments for my constitutional office. So I am assigned to almost 17 boards and commissions in the state of Washington. And I can't do all those, so I have these amazing people I've hired in that organization who have the expertise in those roles. But one that I've put my heart and soul into is the Department of Natural Resources Board of Natural Resources. And as you know, we've got about 50% of our public lands that are already in protected status because we're protecting species in clean water, it's in riparian areas, it's in sensitive areas. The marble murrelet was the latest species we're protecting. But there's still about 6% of our forest that we consider structurally complex legacy forests. These are really important older timbers that provide incredible protection for species, and they're some of the last places that little kids will walk into their community and actually see a tree that's 100 years old. And we have to protect those. So at the Board of Natural Resources, I'm simply pushing the question, 100 years later, should we keep arguing that we need to harvest forests to fund schools? I don't think so. So we're going to get to the right place. We're always going to have harvests, but we can protect legacy forests. And finally, justice. Oh, you want me closer? Closer to this and closer to this. All right. I am incredibly grateful to be elected or supported by so many Democrats around the state. I'm incredibly proud to be endorsed by the Washington Conservation Action, but on the justice side, there's nothing more important than a woman's right to control her own body. So to Planned Parenthood and to Pro-Choice Washington, thank you very much. If we don't have public education protected and we don't protect the earth and we do not protect people's civil rights, then what are we doing as Democrats and Indivisible members? I'm Chris Reykdal. I would love your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm State Senator Patti Kuderer, and I'm running to be your next insurance commissioner. Thank you. I'm glad there's enthusiasm for insurance because I know you don't wake up in the morning wondering who your next insurance commissioner is going to be. But I have been thinking about this office for a long time because I know that's the office where our laws dealing with health care, dealing with long-term disability, dealing with gender-affirming care, dealing with life, dealing with your home and your auto, all of those laws are monitored through the Office of the Insurance Commissioner. And I've worked with the Office of the Insurance Commissioner over several years, so I personally know how important it is. But why would anyone want that job? It hasn't been open in about 24 years. Well, I want it because of health care. That is my motivator for, yes, and in particular, universal health care. And I have been an advocate of universal health care for decades. It came from the birth of my daughter, who was born 3 months early. She spent 5 months in the hospital. She weighed 1 pound, 13 ounces when she was born. Yeah, she was hooked up to a lot of machinery, including a tube down her throat that looked like it weighed more than she did. But during that time, while my employer, my firm, my law firm, was very supportive and gave me the flexibility to be by her bedside every single day and not worry about whether I was going to get a paycheck, the insurance company decided that there was some care her doctor said she needed that they weren't going to pay for. So sometimes being a trial lawyer comes in handy. And let's say I didn't take that message well, and I did get that paid for, but I had to believe they were doing the same thing to the other families in the NICU at the same time. And when I brought her home at 5 months, still medically fragile, there was a letter from the company telling me she had nearly reached her lifetime cap. So it was at that moment when I had the realization that we had a morally bankrupt healthcare system and we needed to change it. And I've been on a mission ever since to make sure no other family goes through that trauma. And guess what? Several years ago, we passed a bill that created a Universal Health Care Commission in Washington State. Yes. And guess who sits on that commission but the insurance commissioner? Isn't that funny? Yeah, and I intend to be a much more active and engaged participant on that commission because I think every Washingtonian deserves health care. So you can take that to the bank that that's going to be front and center. The office is going to be consumer-centered under my leadership. I think it has to be. That's the purpose of it. The statute says that the commissioner is to act in the public interest. I take that seriously. As an attorney, I have stood up to some of the most powerful companies out there, and I'm not intimidated by it. And I can tell you too, I mean, growing up the 6th of 9 children, I learned about abuse of power at a really early age. And I got a visceral reaction to it. It's something I really don't like. And so you can imagine when I see a big, powerful company picking on an insured, that isn't going to set well with me as the insurance commissioner. So with that, how much time do I have left? I'm just going to say that I just have so appreciated your support, and I'm going to need it in this race because, as Chris Reykdal talked about, some of these races are not front and center and top of mind. But this is an important race too, just like all of them across the country will be in 2024. It is the year that democracy is on the line. And with your help, we're going to make sure that the Office of the Insurance Commissioner works for the people of this state and not for profit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here with all of you and really excited to be in this room. I first came to this room in 2018 when I was running for the state senate in the 26th district in a race that they told us we couldn't win. Certainly not a queer woman of color who worked at Planned Parenthood. But because Democrats from Pierce County Democrats, Tacoma Indivisible, the 26th district, the 23rd, Port Townsend, folks from all around Pierce County in Seattle came together and believed that when we knock on doors and walk neighborhoods and make phone calls and talk to voters, that we can win on the issues. We did. We won by 102 votes out of 70,000. And because of that race, because we expanded our Democratic majority in Olympia, we have been able to build incredible success. Alongside my colleagues, Patti Kuderer and Tawana Nobles and Senator Trudeau and the entire legislature, we have passed policy to strengthen abortion access here in Washington state, some of the strongest protections in the country. As Patti said, we have created a universal health care commission and have been building towards universal coverage, including undocumented folks, including folks in our jails, including postpartum Medicaid from just 2 months to a full year, 60 days to a full year of coverage. We are building a system that takes care of people. We've passed the strongest environmental protections in the country. We have invested more and more and more, and not yet enough, but still more in our K-12 education system and special ed to make sure that students have the resources that they need to thrive. We've passed pro-labor policy. We have protected LGBTQ folks. We have fought against book banning. We have strengthened our democracy. Here in this Washington, we put people first, people above profits, people above partisan bickering, people first. And now I am excited to be standing before you, running to be the next member of Congress from the 6th District. And I'm running for so many of the same reasons I ran in 2018, inspired by Trump on the ballot again, knowing that all of the work that we have done here in Washington is at risk if we don't have the leadership we deserve in DC. I'm proud to be endorsed by Tacoma Indivisible, who have been on the doors for 8 weeks already, talking to neighbors. I'm proud to have the sole endorsement of the Pierce County Democrats, and coming out of yesterday, so proud to have the sole endorsement of the Washington State Labor Council. We have a lot of work ahead of us between now and November. We have to elect Democrats up and down the ballot. But I have seen the work that Democrats in this county can do, and I know that together we can win big. Thank you so much.
I love the sound of that. Thank you very much. So I would like to first start out by saying that I'm a first-time runner, right? First-time candidate for anything, and I'm here because of the support from the individuals that are here to help stand me upright and to do something that is terrifying yet incredibly exciting at the same time, right? So I'm Patti Jackson, and I'm running for sheriff at the Pierce County Sheriff's Department. I'm running because I believe in building safe and more equitable communities for everyone. And so I'd like to say that as a lifelong, pretty much a lifelong resident of Pierce County, I've seen firsthand the impact that effective law enforcement can have. Unfortunately, I've also witnessed the challenges and the disparities that exist within our criminal justice system. I'm running because I know that we can do better. My vision for Pierce County is clear: commitment, leadership, equity, accountability, and relationship. The commitment is to social justice. I'm dedicated to promoting social justice and equity, values that transcend against every political affiliation. I'm going to work tirelessly. I'm going to work really hard, okay, to address the systemic, right, inequities and inequalities and ensure that there's a fair and equal treatment for all members of our community. I'm going, as far as my leadership goes, it's community-centered, right? So it is something that the police can't do alone. We need to be able to take away any type of, belief that we can and we've got the power to do everything, and put this back in the community and hear from our community members and provide the service that you're electing us to provide. I will work very hard to prioritize listening to concerns that people are having and not telling you what needs to be done, listening, hearing, and working together to find solutions to get us back to where we need to be as a community, where you feel safe walking outside. Equity is really big for me, and it is something that's progressive, and we need to understand that while the Sheriff's Department is nonpartisan, I'm committing to making certain that we're advancing progressive policy. We're advancing initiatives that improve public safety and address our community needs. This includes, thank you. This includes advocating for alternatives to incarceration, promoting great places for mental health care, and for really addressing the public safety and the needs of our community members. We need to take care of each other. And then we're also suffering right now through lack of addiction services, right? We cannot police our way out of things. We need to make certain we're working together to take care of the people. Accountability, with that comes my accountability and transparency. We need to uphold transparency and accountability. It's an essential part of any public department, regardless of, political affiliations or needs. I'm going to ensure, it's not something I'm going to start doing when I'm elected. I'm already a chief. I'm already doing this. We are going to ensure that the Pierce County Sheriff's Department operates with integrity, operates with transparency, and we earn back the trust. This is not something that's given to us because we have a badge. We need to earn that trust of our community members, and so we can hopefully instill the confidence, thank you, back into the Pierce County residents. And finally, relationships. I've got 35 years of experience in law enforcement and a proven track record in leadership. I want to ensure the safety and security for everybody in here. I've got grandchildren. I want them to be safe where they are as well. This is not lip service. This is something I'm doing, and my time is up. I just want to end. I want to thank you for your support. I couldn't stand up here without you. I'm proud and honored to have earned your endorsement for Tacoma, or for Indivisible Tacoma, and I look forward to earning your votes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is so good to be with fellow progressive Democrats. I want to really thank the Indivisible team, the incredibly hardworking Indivisible team, and all the co-hosts, not only for making today happen, but as Vicki said, the tireless work that the Indivisible Tacoma team does every single week for folks to actually get the work out. You do the real work, the hard work. We are so grateful, and that is how we win. Thank you. For those that don't know me, my name is Ryan Mello. I have the great honor of serving as chair of the Pierce County Council, and I'm the only candidate for Pierce County Executive with local government experience. 4 years on the County Council, 10 years on the Tacoma City Council, and 4 years on the Metro Parks Tacoma Board. That, coupled with my executive experience for 10 years running the Pierce Conservation District, makes me the qualified candidate here. When I moved to Tacoma in 1997, I moved here to go to school. Senator Noble's, go Loggers. I came here to go to the University of Puget Sound. And after graduating from the University of Puget Sound, I joined the Domestic Peace Corps, the AmeriCorps program. And I went right to work helping make my community better. My assignment was at the United Way of Pierce County, developing what we call the Youth United program. The Youth United program works to help young people, middle school and high school students, understand how to get more active in their community. We started things like the Martin Luther King Youth Day of Service and the Letter in Community Service program, where young people can earn a varsity letter. Superintendent Reykdal, we should take this statewide. A varsity letter in community service. Young people have that opportunity in every single school district in Pierce County. It was through that Domestic Peace Corps program is where I fell in love with the people and the natural beauty of this amazing place. And I got to fall in love with the potential of public policy. So look, I bring good news and bad news for you today here in Pierce County. The good news is Bruce Stanmeyer cannot run for county executive anymore. The bad news is his protege from the 25th district has filed. She's an anti-choice, anti-environment, anti-LGBTQ, and anti-labor. She has just that kind of record as Bruce Stanmeyer does. Let's be clear, our opponent is no moderate. Our opponent is no moderate. She has a 0% pro-choice Washington scorecard. She has a 0% equal rights Washington scorecard. She has an 8% Washington conservation voter environmental scorecard. I think you get 8% just for showing up, Senator Kuderer. She has a 13% working families scorecard, 13%. You have to try really hard. We're not running against a moderate. We have really serious issues in front of us. Look, since Democrats, with the great help of Indivisible and Jani Hitchen flipping the seat for the county council, thank you, Indivisible, for investing your time and energy in Jani Hitchen. We need to do that again. But since Democrats took control of the county council in 2020, we have used that majority to make bold progress. We finally, after 18 years of trying, finally passed the Behavioral Health and Therapeutic Courts tax. That's helping us scale up behavioral health services in every neighborhood and school in Pierce County and helping us get to the root causes of crime. We passed the Maureen Howard Affordable Housing Act just a year ago. And recently we protected 53 miles of marine shoreline here in Pierce County to have better access for salmon and recovery and better public recreation. Look, the Office of County Executive is so important, and we need your help to bring our values to the Office of County Executive, to work with a county council to address the issues that are facing us. My name is Ryan Mello. You can go to ryanmello.com to sign up to volunteer. We have lots of ways to volunteer, and our summer campaign kickoff is this Thursday, May 23rd at 5:30 p.m. at Edison Square in South Tacoma Way. We hope to see you there, and we hope to see you all summer long. Thanks so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. Ryan took a lot of the things that I was going to talk about, so I'm going to punt. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Jani Hitchen. I have the honor of serving with Ryan on the Pierce County Council. I represent District 6. And if you don't know what that means, it's Lakewood, DuPont, Steilacoom, Ketron, Anderson, McNeil, half of Parkland, the best half where I live, and Joint Base Lewis McChord. So if I said your community, I'm your representative on the county council, and it's my honor and pleasure to represent you. 4 years ago, I ran for office while teaching upper division physics and biology from my classroom during a pandemic, and I won, and we flipped the majority of Pierce County Council and the trajectory of our county. And I tell you that because they don't want to keep the majority on the Democratic side, and they don't want an executive that will work really well with the Democratic majority. They're going to be working by they. We all know the they I'm talking about. They really want to flip this seat. That being said, let me tell you some of the other stuff that I am super passionate about and why I'm such a good council member. I was, like I said, a teacher. I communicate effectively. I can punt at the drop of a dime if something changes and you need me to be somewhere, do something, answer a call, talk to someone, solve a problem, I am there. I do the work, I do my homework, and I do this because I care. I do this because I have taught for 20 years children who started to lose hope about having a place to grow up, being able to drink the water, breathe the air, find a park, and buy a home, because we have not been thinking about the future. We've been thinking about right now. And so the Democratic majority has, for the last 4 years, been working really hard to change how Pierce County thinks about people. And if I'm not there to keep that work up, I don't know what Pierce County looks like, but I don't know that I want to live here. It's that scary to me, because if we go back to where we were not on a good path. Puget Sound was unhealthy. There wasn't farmland, there wasn't places to play, and kids in our schools were hopeless and dying in some places. And that is not okay. And I don't mean to be gloom and doom, but I just want you to know how important this is. So again, I want to continue the majority. I want to be there to serve you. And I think I can do a really good job for 4 more years. And then I get to go back to the classroom. Anybody who says, I get asked pretty regularly, do you miss the kids? Absolutely. I miss being in the classroom all the time. But when I decided to run, I decided to run for those students. And I went 150 kids, 90,000 kids. And I can do that math. I hope everybody can do that math. And so I am here to ask for your support. We are doorbelling. They started yesterday. I'm going to be in Steilacoom tomorrow, and we are doing as much as we can to get out there to encourage people to both fill out the whole ballot, because it's going to be a little long during the primary, all the different sides, right? And to do the work to make sure that I am there to represent the County Council District 6. So again, if you want to reach out, I've got a sign-up sheet over here, but please let me be a teacher on the county council for 4 more years. Thank you.
Gotta adjust the mic. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rodney Robinson. I'm running for Pierce County Council, position 4. I am nervous standing up here, and part of that nervousness is, thank you. Part of that nervousness is being a first-time political candidate. I've never run for office before, never had the opportunity to serve at that level. And that's caused quite a few conversations in kind of my general network. People often ask, why do you want to run for office? The folks that I want to represent on the council are those folks who live their life every day. They just want to lay their head down in somewhere safe. They want to mind their business. They don't want a disruption to their normal everyday life. They want to participate in the process of change, and maybe they don't know how to. I feel like there's a responsibility for those who are willing to serve to stand up in those spaces and be a conduit of change, to represent those folks who might not have the level of civic engagement as our fine folks in Indivisible have. Those folks who know the steps. Every day that I'm on the campaign trail, I learn something new. Thank God for my wife who is keeping me in this race and say, no, you signed up to do it, so you will finish, because we're learning new things every day. I appreciate the support of the other candidates, folks who I've got to talk to and commiserate with, and I really appreciate the folks in our community. When I have a conversation with them and they say, well, what are you running for? And I say homelessness, housing affordability, quality of life, and they say, well, tell me a little bit more. And we get to talk, and it's more about asking questions about what they want to see, not what I know how to do, because I am a first-time candidate. I'm going to learn all of this from folks like you having conversations, from our elected officials who are so willing to kind of sit down with me and have meetings in the background and say, hey, this is really the lay of the land. These are the things that you need to do. I'm thankful for opportunities like Path to Power, where I got to learn kind of the inroads, the ins and outs. I'm incredibly thankful for the endorsements that I've been able to pick up from the PC Dems, Pierce County Labor, the 28th Legislative District. I appreciate all those things, which really brings me to my why. The why I want to be involved in office, I'm solutions-based. I'm one of those people, if I see a problem, I don't want to hear why it hasn't been solved. I want to contribute to ways that we can solve that problem. I appreciate it. I've spent close to 20 years working in human services. I first started working as an emergency housing case manager in Puyallup, working with families who were experiencing housing instability right after the bubble crisis. I then moved on and started really focusing on our young people. I've had the opportunity to serve as the first paid employee for a program called Housing for Success, which, if y'all are not familiar, was the first dedicated housing program here in Pierce County for young people. Right now, I run a program, I'm the director for a campaign to end and prevent youth and young adult homelessness. I'm working with our young people to elevate their voice, to make sure that they feel comfortable to advocate for solutions for them. Right now, we've sponsored a needs assessment where our young people, they're proud of the work that they've done, right? Instead of exploiting their viewpoints, we're asking them to participate in the process of change. We're making sure that they feel comfortable. We're making sure that they understand how the halls of power work and what they can demand from their elected officials. As part of this election, I hope to be and magnify that spirit of community advocacy, solutions-based, and bringing back a community. I've been in Pierce County pretty much all my life. I'm old enough to remember when Tacoma Mall had a movie theater with only 2 screens, and when Lakewood had its own mall, right? And we want to bring back that sense of community. I've had an opportunity to take advantage of that, and I want to be able to provide that to my young people, to my kids, to all your kids. Thank you again for this opportunity to speak, and I greatly appreciate any support. You can visit my website at Elect Rodney Robinson to sign up to support. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Everyone. I know I'm going to lose a little bit of time by doing this, but I just want to, one, express how humbled I am by everyone that has come before me and just hearing your stories. And can we give a round of applause to every single person that's running for office right now? It is hard work, so thank you so much for your service. I am here. My name is Rosie Ayala. I am your Metro Parks Board Commissioner, but more importantly, I'm here as a Pierce County Council District 4 candidate. I am running because I think it's very important that we have elected officials, not just at the local level, but at the state and at the federal level, that have the lived and professional experiences to help guide policies that are going to shape our environment. Personally, I come to you as a Chicana. I am a first-generation U.S.-born resident here. My parents immigrated from Mexico. I myself am the benefit of, or have had the pleasure and benefit of being on food stamps, being on unemployment. I have struggled with housing. I have worked multiple jobs to make ends meet because it is really hard, and a lot of our residents are going through the same exact experiences. And it is important that we have people that understand that experience to help change these policies. Professionally, I have worked with homeless youth. I would say one of my biggest accomplishments in working with homeless youth is developing a youth advisory board that helped our staff get youth voice to help guide the policies of that engagement, which brings some dignified work to that environment. I have worked in education access, supporting young people transitioning into careers. We need to have a better path for our young people to enter, whether it's college, the workforce, apprenticeships, whatever that might be. It is their choice to develop their own pathway. And currently, I am really excited to be working and serving in the JMAC space, where we are creating safe environments for young people. Summer teen late nights, which is coming back. I know this has existed for many, many years, but we have had a lot of youth violence in this community, and we want to make that stop. And we can only do this in partnership. So with partnership, not just at the local level, but at the state level and with our federal partners, we need to make sure that we are investing back into community. I am excited to have that as a cornerstone of this campaign: partnership, equity, continuous improvement, and we need to do better. I want to mention, Jani, thank you so much for naming not to be gloom, but the work is hard, and we need to do the work together. I am committed to a vision of this partnership where housing, education, workforce, the environment, and the well-being of everyone is working together and working in concert. Thank you. Yes. We need to understand that nurturing young people in the classroom means that we are creating innovative managers in their future, in our workforce, and that investing in our environment means that we are not only safeguarding our space to live in, but we are also creating a new pathway and a new mindset for people to take care of this earth, because we need it. We need this to exist in our future. I am committed to a vision of inclusivity where we can celebrate people of all cultures that enrich Pierce County. With that, I've got 15 seconds. So I need you all to join me in this vision, to work together, to partner across industry, and to make sure that we are collectively doing everything we can to create change. My name is Rosie Ayala, and I'm here as your Pierce County Council District 4 candidate. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Linboe. I'm running for Pierce County Council, District 3. Lifelong Washington State residents. I'm kind of nervous about speaking in front of you all, plus kind of nervous about speaking in front of one of my mentors, Yana. But what I'll start out with is an introduction into myself. I grew up in Federal Way, started my early life in White Center, came from a broken family, spent a lot of time in and out of living at the projects, one in Burien Gardens, a few in White Center. From there, we moved into Federal Way, where I pretty much spent the rest of my youth into adulthood, moved out of the house at 16. So I can honestly say I've got firsthand experience on a lot of the social and economic issues that I'm trying to work with everybody. As far as schooling, I've gone to school, got my master's degree in work and labor policy. So by that you can tell, I'm a big time union person. I've worked as a chief shop steward since 2015. I got my first taste in politics with the Machinists Union, going back to DC to lobby on what's called a Leadership 2 class that they had. During that class, you have to go and then you have to lobby your representatives. So that was kind of my first taste into politics, and then talking to some of my friends, they're always saying, well, you're always talking anyway, why don't you run? So I decided to run for fire commissioner because I thought that would be, a good step to learn the ropes. So now I've been a fire commissioner since 2020, and then last year I was voted to be the representative for Washington State Fire Commissioners Association, Region 7. So that put me in charge of Pierce and Thurston County, which it's been a learning experience the whole way. Which is one of the things I continue to hopefully do is learn and gain more experience. One of the things that is discussed kind of on my card over there is called quiet progress. It's characterized by the continuous learning, gradual improvements, and focus on long-term goals, leading to substantial quality and productivity and positive outcomes. And that's kind of what I hope to bring to this office, is a newer perspective with positive outcomes. One of the things that are near and dear to me is sustainability, which you hear quite a bit. I mean, the buzzword for everybody now is sustainability. But the other word that a lot of people don't talk about is circular economy. Circular economy is basically building and taking things from the earth, but also putting it back into the earth, meaning that it's got to become biodegradable. We have to make things that are more natural, get away from petroleum products, that we're all near and dear to today. Most of us don't even know how much petroleum products are in the everyday things that we use. I mean, hell, our toothbrush is made out of petroleum products, unless you've got a wooden handle. So it's kind of important that we go back to the basics and get away from the petroleum products, which is, part of sustainability, part of circular economy. So anyway, that's kind of, thanks a lot. So I'm going to borrow a phrase from a friend of mine from Path to Power class, and that is, help me to help you by supporting my campaign. Thanks for your time.
Good evening, everyone. So I get to bring us in towards I feel like my parents are like in the room, and that the cameras are going. Hello, everyone. I am Davida Haygood, and I'm running for Pierce County Council, District 2. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to have the support of Indivisible Tacoma. It's because of support like this that I decided to run again. As Superintendent Reykdal talked about Moms for Liberty. Yeah, I know about Moms for Liberty. They thought they had me, but what they don't know is can't stop, won't stop. So I'm here again. I'm running because I authentically believe in authentic community. That's what's so important to me. That's what I base my decision off of. That's what I base my campaign off of. Part of authentic community is affordable housing. I am a professor of education right now. I'm a community activist. I'm a community organizer. But most importantly, I'm a parent, and I'm someone who understands what it is to have a life where affordable housing is extremely hard and what it's not like to have that. I've had situations where I'm going to be very honest and transparent. They said, this is family. They said, y'all family. I'm going to treat y'all like family. I've gone from the journey of welfare to where I am now. I've gone through the journey of not knowing if I can pay my rent, if I can pay my payment. I've gone through all those journeys, so I understand the stress, the fear, the hardness of that. I'm so excited. My daughter's here with me. She finally said yes. She's here with me. And knowing that what I'm doing and how I'm doing it is not only just impacting her life, but her future and her children and my son's children as we go forward. So it's important to me that as I'm racing and as I'm working, I want to look at how are we working on tenants' rights and landlords' relationships to build positive housing experiences for renters. How are we looking at our vulnerable population? We have developers who are trying to take over mobile home parks. How are we looking at that from a humane way, an equitable way, and ensuring that not only that people can thrive in healthy, affordable communities that love them and take care of them and are there for them, but we're also ensuring that our seniors are able to age in place. Seniors are such an important part of our community. As someone who's from the Black background, we talk about the Sankofa, looking at how it's important to come from our past and our future and connecting those all together. So that's very important for me in that, yes, I'm looking at my notes, I'm not that good. I'm not Ryan yet. Ryan's a mentor, I'm not there yet. Also, looking at our environmental justice, it's so important. I talked about the movie WALL-E, how we have taken for granted our water, our clean air, and our sources of food. And it's going back to a lot of the aspects of what our tribal communities taught us about being good stewards of what we have. You know, bringing that back in and using them. And using our relationships with our tribal communities as they are educating us, they're helping us learn, they're helping us make better choices. They are part of the decision and part of the conversation and continuing to grow and deepen those relationships. Also looking at empowering. I'm an educator. I've been an educator from the little toddlers or 2 to now my oldest students in their 70s. And so I understand youth and having youth empowerment and bringing that into our communities. It's so important that we're finding more opportunities for our young people to be part of our civic engagement. I really want to work with our good county council members to build a junior council for having young people part of our county council, even to the point where they're part of our council meetings, they're part of the conversations, they're part of the decisions in Pierce County. And my time is up, so I appreciate you.
Hello everyone and good afternoon. Thank you so much for the invitation to be here today. My name is Sara Develle. I am Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland's political director. And I also just wanted to introduce Liz Larder, the Congresswoman's district director and senior political advisor. Congresswoman Strickland really wanted to be here today, and she's disappointed that she couldn't make it, but unfortunately there was lots of changes in the House voting schedule and her committee work that just made it impossible for her to be here today, sadly. But she really appreciates everything that all of you are doing for the community, and like all of you, she knows exactly what is at stake this November. So that's why she's continued to fight for so many things in Congress, but I'm just gonna give you a short list. This Congress, she introduced 2 different access to reproductive care bills. One of them was a travel bill signifying the right to travel to get access to reproductive health care. And then, yes, absolutely. And then the other bill was a grant bill that would actually provide funds for women that have to travel to be able to get access to that care. And so once we flip the House this November, thank you. We also need to codify a person's right to make their own private medical decision across the country. Speaking of rights, we need to make sure that all Americans have access to voting rights because it is crucial for our democracy, not just here in Washington, but across the entire nation. We need to stand with working families and our seniors. Congresswoman Strickland is proud to be a co-sponsor of the PRO Act, which is protecting the right to organize, and she's diligently working to make sure that Social Security and Medicare are not only protected, but work better for those accessing those earned benefits. Protecting the environment is right at the forefront of her mind, and working to mitigate the impacts of climate change is so important, and I know that the Congresswoman knows how important this issue is, especially as one of our most valuable resources in our backyard. The Puget Sound is something that she is so incredibly involved in advocating for. I was just in DC last week for Puget Sound Day on the Hill, and I got to witness firsthand how important she knows this body of water is to our entire region and our entire state. And also she was able to show her appreciation to Congressman Derek Kilmer for all of the work that he has put into that, and she is absolutely dedicated to carrying that mantle and making sure that we are not in a void for that leadership in the future. And while she's doing all of that, she's also standing up to ridiculous, hurtful amendments in the House Armed Services Committee work that is anti-LGBTQIA and anti-DEI and more. So she's always having to be pushing back against this harmful rhetoric in Congress, which is why we need to take back the House. Yes. There's only one Democrat in this race that stands with your values and our values, the collective South Sound values, and that is my boss, our member of Congress, Marilyn Strickland. She's proud to be a product of the South Sound, proud to work on your behalf, and is working every day to make sure that we are a nation that is more just, more safe, and more secure. Thank you for your time, your efforts, and I'm so glad that we have forged a relationship where you can call or email our office anytime, and we can and all of us will work our hardest to make sure that we can be the best of help. And so lastly, I just want to mention that 2024, is the most important election of our lifetime, and there's so many ways to get involved, but I just want to highlight that we have yard signs out in the lobby, that we are going to be knocking doors, and that if there's one thing that we can all do after leaving this meeting here today, is that we can go back to our friends and our families, and we can make sure that every single one of them is registered to vote, and that they have all their questions answered, and that they know who they're voting for, and that they have a plan, and they're sticking to it, right? So let's make sure that we have some great GOT events this August and this November. Let's get energized and let's get to work. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. We've been having some exciting candidates, and I want to make sure that it's hard to include everyone, but we do have 2 other legislative candidates. Indivisible has endorsed. Senator Tawana Nobles is here. I know we all saw her already, and that's really great, and she will speak on June 30th, and also we endorsed Devin Kelly for LD 27, and he's here. So those people our endorsed candidates for legislature will speak on June 30th. And Vicki, do you want to go ahead and then
Sure. So I just wanted to reiterate about doorbelling, how important it is. It can be very fun, right, Ryan? As fun as you make it, you can organize a team of friends in your neighborhood and make it a social event. Doorbelling allows you to engage with real people rather than with your TV or social media. It's great walking exercise. Since April, Indivisible members have knocked on over 1,500 doors in Tacoma, CD6 for Emily Randall. And that's a lot of steps for those of you tracking your steps. So Indivisible Tacoma members will be knocking on doors every week until the November election for our priority candidates. And we will have I don't know if anyone has seen our candidate rack cards, but they are kind of like a Bible for a lot of people at these tabling events that we go to at like the Hilltop Fair and Mosaic. People just go, oh yeah, wow, I didn't know some of these people were running, and they use it to fill out their ballots. So we will be handing those out. They'll be coming out shortly. And so before you leave today, please sign up at the volunteer table with one of our 3 election teams to receive notifications and more information about upcoming doorbelling days. And together we can keep Pierce County and Washington State blue. This is an urgent call to action. I can't stress that enough. We need everyone's help. Please sign up at our volunteer table where you will find dates and contacts for upcoming canvassing events. A community organizer once said, quote, "You have to be present to win." And you've all taken the first step by simply being present today. Thank you.
In addition to signing up for election actions, we also have a handout on that table of upcoming events, Indivisible Tacoma events. We have an elections team that meets every 2 weeks. We have a legislative action team, things that you can join and have a say. We discuss the endorsements. We talk about how to be the most effective in managing our resources. So please join us. Take one of these handouts over on that table of our upcoming events. You all know what to do next, and for the thank you so much for coming. And one of the things that we're going to ask you to do now is definitely go over and sign up. Also, talk to the candidates, the ones who spoke and the ones who didn't. Talk to them and find out what they need specifically, and then talk to each other, and then eat cake and come back on June 30th. Okay? Thank you.